Okay, so let's jump right into this. It's a fascinating legal question, one that has actually affected thousands and thousands of families over the years.
You'd think this would be a simple yes or no question, right? But for decades, the answer in Philippine law was, well, it was surprisingly complicated. It actually took one huge landmark Supreme Court case to finally clear everything up.
To really understand why this was so messy, we need to look at a single, crucial phrase in the law. A phrase that sparked years of legal battles and left countless families just hanging in a state of uncertainty.
So this was the law on the books, but everything, and I mean everything, hinged on how you interpreted one little clause. Who might herself be lawfully naturalized? What in the world did that actually mean? Did an alien wife have to go through the entire long, formal process of naturalization? Or did it mean something else entirely?
For years, the courts just went back and forth between these two ways of looking at it. The hardline view meant an alien wife had to prove she met every single qualification that any other applicant for citizenship had to prove. But the simpler view argued, no, she just needed to show she wasn't disqualified. You can imagine the confusion this created.
All this uncertainty, all this back and forth, it finally came to a head in 1971. It all boiled down to the story of one couple, a story that would literally change Philippine law forever. Moy Ya Lim Yao and Lau Yuen Yeung.
So let's break down what happened. Moy Ya Lim Yao was a Filipino citizen. He falls in love with and marries Lau Yuen Yeung, who is a Chinese national, and she was only supposed to be in the country temporarily. So, shortly after their wedding, boom, the immigration authorities order her deportation. The couple fought back, and they made a really bold claim. By marrying a Filipino, Lau Yuen had become a Filipino citizen, and therefore she couldn't be deported.
This was it. This question landed squarely in front of the Supreme Court. Their case forced the court to finally settle this huge citizenship debate once and for all. It was a direct challenge that absolutely required a definitive answer.
And what the court came back with, well, it was a landmark moment. It brought total clarity after decades of confusion. And it was all based on a really simple but incredibly powerful legal principle.
That principle is called ipso facto. Now, it's a Latin phrase, sounds a little fancy, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It just means by the fact itself. The idea is that an outcome happens automatically, as a direct result of an action. So, what was the fact itself in this case? You guessed it, the act of marriage.
I mean, just look at how decisive the court's ruling was. They declared that the marriage itself is what confers citizenship. The alien woman becomes a Filipina ipso facto by the very fact of her marriage, just as long as she isn't legally disqualified for some other reason.
So, what does this all boil down to? The simpler view won, big time. The burden completely shifted. An alien wife no longer had to prove she met all these qualifications, like, 10 years of residency. She just had to show that she didn't have any of the disqualifications. Her citizenship became a direct, automatic, legal consequence of her marriage.
But wait, it goes deeper. Because to really understand why the court ruled this way, we have to pull back the lens a little bit and look at an even bigger, more foundational concept in the law that this whole case rests on. And that is, what does it even mean to be a legal person?
In law, there's this idea of civil personality. Think of it this way. It just means the law recognizes you as a player in the game, as an actor who can have rights and also have duties. For Lau Yuen, the court's decision fundamentally changed her legal personality in the Philippines, from an alien with limited rights to a full-blown citizen with a whole new set of them. And this really shows you just how central this idea is. Your legal personality defines everything: your status, your home, your rights, your obligations. The Moy Ya Lim Yao ruling was so powerful because it directly changed Lau Yuen's status, flipping it from alien to citizen.
And this is where the law can get kind of surprising. The law's view of what makes a status real isn't always what you'd expect. For instance, get this. Even if a couple gets married purely for convenience, let's say just for one person to get citizenship, the law still sees that marriage as a valid legal act. As long as they both consented to the legal tie, their personal motive doesn't actually change their new legal status as married.
It gets even wilder. This idea of legal personality is so powerful, it isn't even limited to, living, breathing people. The law can grant a kind of personality to the estate of a deceased person. It's a legal fiction, but it allows the estate to do things like continue a business, application making sure that rights and obligations can survive even after someone has passed away.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. What is the big takeaway from all of this? How does it all connect?
Well, think about where we started.
We saw how a single court case, one that was born from one couple's fight to stay together, just rippled outwards. It didn't just clarify one specific rule. It ended up reaffirming a huge foundational legal principle that key life events can directly change our legal identity.
At the end of the day, the Moy Ya Lim Yao ruling is a powerful statement. It's about the legal weight of our personal status. It says that marriage isn't just a social event or a religious ceremony, it is a legal act with the real-world power to change who you are in the eyes of the law, transforming an alien into a citizen by the fact itself.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Cases like this force us to consider this profound question. They show us that the law isn't just some abstract set of rules out there. It's a powerful system that is actively constructing and defining our very identity.